Okay, this is like my 7th take at it. I'm getting really sick of this intro. So we got ourselves the RK Archetype given to us by a What If Archetype Master, S-Code Knight. And this archetype was used by Emily, and I believe the RK is short for Railway Knight. Now I'm glad to have this archetype explained to me because in the original Behind the Duelist Emily episode, I didn't fully understand how the thing worked. Because I'm one of those guys where it's like, you know, Konami can release the new cards and show the prints in it and all that stuff, and like, you know, we're announcing this new archetype, here's what they do and all that stuff, and I just sat there and be like, yeah, those definitely are words being said right now. You know, I need to use them myself before I can fully comprehend what they do. I literally have to be that random bullshit go meme. That's the only way I learned some stuff, you know? But yeah. Hopefully it being explained like this will help me understand a bit better. We can only hope, right? But yeah. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's get into this son of a gun, because I do not want to do this an 8th time.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the multiverse. I am S-Code Knight.
Nigel
back with another
Thornberry.
What If Archetype video. Today, we're capitalizing on the previous Behind the Duels episodes, and we'll be going over the Railway Knight Archetype.
Yeah,
this train-themed synchro deck was used by Emily Pannier. Unlike the other train-themed cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which were used by a lunatic.
And she was the best character in Zexo, or at least one of
more
the
akin
best.
to actual trains. They're an equip-based deck, with the equip spells being Rolling Stock. Though these spells lack powerful effects, they make up for it by basically being the backbone of the archetype. The main deck monsters, which are all named after narrow gauge engines that are preserved, focus on equipping these spells to the higher synchro monsters which they are used to summon. The synchro monsters themselves also gain some beneficial effects depending on the abundance of them. These guys are also named after famous preserved engines. Lastly,
so
the equip spells have two
mainline
unique
engines to be the extra deck.
Either being able to be used as synchro material, counting as either a level 1 or 2 monster, or being placed in the monster card zone in addition to the spell and trap zone. So, while the trains we all know and love are basically like playing in a war zone and emphasize the power of trains, these guys are like playing with a model railway set and emphasize the beauty of trains. But I think I've gone on long enough. Let's cover these guys already. I'm S-Code Knight,
although you don't want to be
and
hit
this
by
is the Railway
either of them,
Knight
to be
Archetype.
fair. Let's begin with the monsters. Railway Knight Tally Klin, a fire level 1 monster. I imagine they're all going to be like fire machines. Just fitting because, you know, trains, they're steam engines, and steam engines require fire. So it makes sense. Okay, he's a machine tuner effect monster with 1100 attack and 100 defense. This card cannot attack the turn it's summoned. You know, that makes sense for like some monsters that have like over 2,000 attack points, but why you? Like, maybe it's a reference to the Tally Klin and like how it was out of service for a while or something, but it's just like, Anyway, or maybe it's like, oh wait, no, I know. It's like how, you know, you need to like actually stoke up and get the engine started before it can actually move anywhere. They're not like these, we're just like, I press the button, I touch on the starter, and we're all ready to go. But yeah, so I think that's what it's a reference to. You need to take time to actually get it going. Makes more sense than with tunes, at least. If this card is summoned, add 1 RK card from your deck to your hand. So it's a Shroud, so you can search your entire archetype. Nice. If this card is used as synchro material for the synchro summon of an RK monster, you can equip 1 RK equip spell from your deck or graveyard to that monster. You can only use each effect of RK Tally Lin once per turn. I said I would call it Railway Knight, but frick, I'm just gonna call it RK. It's just easier, shorter. I'm gonna contradict what I just said 5 seconds ago. But interesting. If it's used as synchro material, you can equip an equip spell right from the deck or grave to that monster, and that will set you up into more further synchro plays and stuff like that, which is really handy. And since this thing is a tuner, that'll also help it get its moves going a little faster. I mean, it's the one that can cause it to happen, so yeah. So this thing can both search to a Railway Knight card and equip you with a Railway Knight card, provided it uses a synchro material for the second one. So yeah, we're off to a strong start. Can't attack on the first turn, but that's a worthy sacrifice. Arclay Dolglik, level 2, or Dolgek. imagine this one was I thought this one was originally like Donald and Douglas in the accent, but it could have been like freaking how Scarlet Lily had one in an accent in the CGI series. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I just, I find them anywhere. But anyway, yeah, it's a machine tuner effect as well, level 2 fire, if I didn't say that already. It's got 1200 attack and 200 defense. It also cannot attack the turn it's summoned, and if this card is normal summon, and you can special summon one RK monster from your hand. Okay? So on summon, you summon another rail in it, which is handy. It's like when this thing comes along, it brings a friend along with it. Like we're double-heading the son of a gun. Which is nice, especially considering it's a tuner monster, and you can just go into your secrets a little faster, so that's good. If this card uses a secret material for the secret summon of an RK monster, you can equip an RK equip spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand to that monster. So it does the same thing as Tally Lin, and yeah, except it can bring back the stuff after, which arguably that makes it the better one. Although searching literally any card from your deck is kind of better in some scenarios. It's a case-by-case scenario entirely, I will admit that. Neither of them are bad. It's like arguing between an A+ and another A+. Which A+ do you want at the time? Although it's always good to search it. Enough of that. Yeah, this one is, again, more of the same with Tally Lin, so all the positives I gave it, give it to this as well. So, yeah. Sir Hayden. RK Sir Hayden. Level 3 Fire. That's our handle. Is a machine effect monster, not a tuner, with 1300 attack and 300 defense. I like how this is slowly gaining an extra 100 attack and defense with each level. I've been paying attention to that detail. If you control an RK monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, or you can just let Dolgax do it for you. Case by case. Sometimes you want to normal summon this guy. If this card uses a secret material for the secret summon of a monster, equip an RK equip spell from your deck to your hand to that monster. Deck or grave to that monster. I keep saying hand. Force of Habit. You can only use one effect of Sir Hayden once per turn. Yeah. It spams itself out a little faster. You can start summoning it, special summon a monster, which means you could potentially use this with Tally Lin for faster single material, although you would only be able to summon a level 4 monster, which I don't think they have yet. But I also don't know, because I imagine we need to see all of them in either Behind the Duels or... Well, no, just Behind the Duels right now, so there could be more. And if she joins Unleashed in Season 4, then we'll probably see even more monsters. Time will tell. So yeah, good card, and moving on. Edward Thomas, a level 4 fire monster. Railroad, of course. I don't think this is a narrow gauge, but I also don't know all my rules, but maybe that was just a reference. But anyway, machine effect. Oh, this one doesn't have the summon requirements. This one doesn't have the summon restrictions. I don't think the last one did either. Actually, I can just break through immersion for 2 seconds. Yeah, that one didn't have the restrictions either. So, okay, I guess it's just the tuners that have that problem, which I guess makes some kind of sense. They got eaten up somehow. If this card is summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. Add one RK monster or equip spell among them to your hand, and send the rest to the GY. Okay, so it's a bit of a pot of duality in a sense, or something like that. You could just pick which card from the top you want. Oh wait, no, it's a Magician's Soul thing. The Magician's Circle. The Magician's Circle. It's something like that. You can just add any RK monster, or I imagine RK equip spells, because I don't know if you would add United We Stand, for example, to this thing. Although, oh god, imagine Railway Knights with United We Stand. They just have all the equipped spells, which will treat as monsters equipped to them. And you just be like, hey, have you accepted God as your Lord and Savior now? No? Die! I'm sorry, have you accepted Lady as your Lord and Savior? But yeah, it's handy, it's a good thing. It's a Magician's Circle is played though more for the fans, but hey, a search is always a good search. Although you at least get one of them. If this card uses secret material, equip a quick spell from deck or grave to hand. You know that one by now. And yeah, each once per turn. So yeah, this one might be a little technically weaker given the fact, especially compared to Tally Lin, but it's not a bad card amongst them. Plus, if you could add any quick spell card, then just, oh boy. The quick spell, the United We Stand doesn't become hands anymore, it becomes coupling rods. It might as well be. Now I'm just gonna be it's Kodite idea of what to do for one of his duels. An awful, awful idea. But yeah. It's a handy little guy that does a special thing, and you know, doesn't have a summoning sickness, so that's handy, I guess. He's alright. It's alright, it's alright. And plus it gives you graveyard setup, so that's cool. Arcade Midlander, level 4 Earth Monster. Not a fire this time. I have no idea what this one's based on. Is a tuner effect monster, and this one can't be. This one still can attack, so I guess it was only those first two. Okay. 1500 attack, 500 defense. Cannot be used as material for except for machine monster. I would assume that means synchro material specifically. Or, well, I guess you could fuse and exist on other stuff, like evolution, someone with this point. Maybe it just means material in general, like any kind of summoning. I imagine he meant to say synchro material, although you can do it for any. You can shuffle any number of RK equipped spells from your graveyard into your deck, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, reduce this card's level by the number of cards shuffled by this effect. Okay, so if I want to, like, just put one back, this card comes down, it's a level 3. If I want to put... Could this thing become a level 0? I imagine it could, although I don't think you can become a negative number, so don't try to blow off any dark synchro shit, although that would be some shit. I choose to discard 9 cards, and now I have a -4 sync dark tuner. Don't ask how I got 9 cards in my hand, I cheated. I mean, but yeah. Just, yeah. That's a pretty handy effect to get. Lets you also get some preservations back in. You know, restock your train stock and all that jazz, and get some. It just levels the way you want it to. And of course, with this card, you use sync material, blah blah blah, RK effect. You know how it works by now. So yeah, handy guy who can special himself at a good cost, and he can also equip stuff. Probably actually, for this you could probably just like. Well, no, I was gonna be like you just put it from the deck. Like you can put like the freaking railway coach back in the deck, summon this guy, and then equip that said railway coach. But it's in the graveyard, you can do that anyway. But I guess it doesn't really matter either way. What works, works, right? So yeah. Alright card. Good work. I like it. Arcade Douglas, a level 6 fire monster. This thing better be good. 1600 attack and 600 defense. On a level 6? I love 2002 Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, it's a machine effect monster. This face-up card losers 1 level. Loser! For each RK monster you control. It doesn't have any special summoning conditions, though. Well, I guess you could do it with Douglas, yeah, Douglas, I believe it was. The level 2 one earlier that lets you special summon. Another one from the hand, I imagine that's how you're supposed to bring it out, but eh. Which would bring this thing down to a level 5. But just like, this thing is starting off kind of crap, let's hope it can rebound pretty quickly. Anyway, you can discard one equipped spell from your hand, special summon this guy. Okay, so it does have a way out of it. Okay, then I was wrong. I should have kept reading. That's my mistake, and I take responsibility for that one. My bad. But, and given the fact that you equip the equipped spells from anywhere, that thing brings this thing out better. It discards users particular material. You know how this works by now. I don't need to keep reading. Midlander once per turn. So it started off a little iffy, but it rebounded with this special summoning condition, and it does the same thing everyone else does. So you know, if you can use a lot of things, you're going to do a lot. If you can use a lot of material to make a monster, you're going to get a lot of equipment. I know that for a friggin' fact. I kind of wish it would also equip like 2 equipped spells, just because it's a level 6 monster. So, or if you don't have an equipped spell in hand or the Douglas, the thing's a brick. I'll tell you what. But I guess that might be a little too much, but that's just how I would have made it. And I'm not the creator of this archetype. You are, S-Code. If you're watching this, you probably are. But yeah, I'm just giving my sense. But yeah, it's alright. I probably wouldn't run like 3 of this guy, but I think 2 is a solid enough number. Personally speaking, anyway. 3 just, you know, I can just see myself, okay, I got nothing in hand. I need something good now. You! Of course it's you! You know, that's me. My Pistons are gonna fix that problem, but you know what I mean. Anyway, on to the synchros. RK City of Truro, a level 6 fire monster. don't think I need to say what these are based off, because they have it in the freaking name. This is even a freaking hyperbole. It is a machine synchro effect monster that takes one arcade tuner and one or more non-tuners. It's got 2200 attack and 2000 defense. It's made in 2023. Oh, been playing this one for a while. Before I forgot to change the date. This card gains 200 attack for each arcade equipped spell equipped to it. If this card would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy one spell equipped to this card instead. Not an arcade specifically, so you can equip this thing with black pendant, that black pendant's going by instead. Kind of a bit of a power tool dragon effect there. I like that. That's one of the good things about power tool dragon. I like the fact that if it would die, the good spell can go instead, and you can keep the monster. If an arcade equipped spell equipped to the synchro monster is destroyed, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. What's that? You tried to destroy my monster? That's nice. Anyway, I destroy your monster now. Basically, that's what happens. It kind of reminds me of Unchained in Abomination's way. What's that? Something blew up? Well, I better blow something up then. Oh, I hate Abomination. That card might as well read. If your opponent exists, blow something up. It's Michael Bay's favorite card. Oh, yeah. If this card sent to the graveyard, you can add one arcane equipped spell from your graveyard to your hand. It's not an equipped spell specifically, but it's a level 6 synchro, so that's fair enough. And you can only use that effect specifically once per turn. So yeah. So that means and of course that means City of Troro's whole you try to destroy my guy, no I destroy your guy or gal is, not once per turn. So if you've got a lot of equipped to it and they keep attacking into it because they're a moron, they're paying for it. So yeah, City of Troro is a really good start to the Synchro Archetype. Well, the Synchro monsters, I mean to say. No, it's still an Archetype, the Synchro Archetype. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Arcade Flying Scotsman, a level 8 fire monster. It is a machine synchro effect with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. It takes one arcade tuner monster plus one or more non-tuner machine monsters. This one's a little bit more luck, but only a little bit. You can make this thing with Mechanical Chaser for all two of you that have that sixth sense of mind. Yes, I'm one of them. Must first be synchro summoned, so you can monster reborn if it dies after the fact. If so, all monsters your opponent controls lose fire attack and wait a minute, what do you mean if so? The only way I can summon this thing is by synchro. Well, actually, it said first be synchro summon, so I just kind of did. And just basically say how else you would do it. So forget me, I guess. If so, all monsters your opponent controls lose fire attack and defense for each RK spell card equipped to this card. Interesting. Wait. So this thing is synchro summoned, and then automatically the monsters that were used as material equip onto the equipped spells onto it, correct? And then the effect would activate to destroy cards, or make your opponent lose monsters equal to the equipped spells equipped to this. I imagine that's how that would work. Or you could synchro summon this card, then equip the equipped spells during your main phase 1, and then choose to activate the lower attack points thing. It doesn't have to happen specifically on order in order on synchro summon. It could be like it's synchro summon. Now I can wait until you're ready, which I hope that's how it works because I prefer that way of it. Although admittedly it does lead to that moment to be like, why didn't you use the effect on synchro summon? Shit, I forgot. Anyway, if your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, quick effect, you can send one spell equipped to this synchro summoned monster to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use that effect once per turn, which is handy. I like that. It's got a little bit of negate in there that can send a quick spell to the graveyard, and it's not a friggin' oppressive floodgate, so once per use. So yeah, at least that part's the once per turn thing, and that's neat. I like that. It's cool. If you it's hard. If you do Monster Reborn this thing, you can't do that effect, so it's just kind of there. It's a cool train, though. I like City of Troro. Flying Scotsman. I like City of Troro, too. Let's move on to the next train. Choo-choo! RK Green Arrow, a level 8 fire monster. I know why they're all fire, but you made one earth randomly, so why didn't you make this one wind? This would have made sense to me, but that's me personally. I think Green Arrow, oh, I don't know, green! Anyway, it's a machine circle effect monster that takes 2800 attack and 2200 defense. They say it takes 2800 attack. It takes an RK tuner monster and one or more non-tuners. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. Also, if this card attacked a monster, you can send one RK equipped spell you control to the graveyard and make this card attack again in a row. Your opponent must control a monster in order to activate this effect. So, if your opponent has, let's just say, Arcana Force Hero with Fool in 2024 for some reason, because they hate themselves. This thing is equipped with 4 equipped spells. This thing can attack, do piercing, remove an equipped spell, attack, do piercing, remove an equipped spell, and so on. Because this effect is not once per turn, although you can only control one green arrow to prevent loops, I guess, with all the green arrow beat down. I like this one the best though, because this is my personal favorite. I don't know why. I see the piercing and it's like I like this one. It hits the monkey brain part of my brain. It's like even when you hide, I hit. And then again, I'm one of those people that plays Blackwing Armed Wing in my Blackwing deck, so something's completely wrong with me. A lot of things. But yeah, it's a good card and a good multi-attacker that also does piercing. I like it. RK Mallard is a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fire monster. I believe this is the boss monster of the Archetype as of now, anyway. It's a machine synchro effect monster that takes one machine tuner and one RK synchro non-tuner because I don't have a synchro tuner yet. I just gotta keep putting that out there. It has 3,500 attack points and 2,000 defense points. It must first be synchro summoned, and if it was, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Then, during your main phase once, I guess that means during your main phase once, not your main phase 1, I guess. While this card is face up on the field, you can equip RK equipped spells from your hand, deck, or graveyard up to the number of non-synchro RK monsters in your graveyard with different names. Yeah, I imagine that was supposed to be during your main phase once. And only once. Hard once per turn. Like super hard. Not once per duel super hard, but you know what I mean. Because that is freaking ridiculous. I mean, that deserves to be a boss monster. And you did use a synchro non-tuner in order to make it, but still like, Yeebus, you know? Actually, could you make this thing with... Actually, you can make this thing with Formula Synchron. Well, it specifies synchro non-tuner, so meh. Or something like that. Anyway, it takes up to the number of non-synchro arcade monsters from your graveyard. It doesn't count the synchro tuners. The synchros in the graveyard. It doesn't count the synchro arcades in the graveyard. I can English. This is the only monster that's allowed to attack the turn you activate that effect. Of course it is. That's freaking ridiculous. If you got a freaking graveyard that said you could equip potentially 11 cards to it. Well, actually, 9 cards to it because Field Spell Zone and can't be used as a good spell zone, and the extra monster zone just does not exist. But still, that's a lot. Also, you can't use the pendulum zones. But again, my point still stands. Anyway, it's a lot is the point. If your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can negate the activation and if you would, destroy it. So it also has the last guy's ability to negate, and each effect of Arcane Mallet is once per turn, especially that first one. That's super once per turn. That's once while this card is face up, and then someone would book a moon to be like, now it's a new monster. No, bitch. Really. So yeah, it's the boss monster of the Archetype, and it clearly gives you the reason as to why. Just read it, you'll understand. Remember to spell check, kids. Wait, I'm going back for 1 second here. Okay, 2 seconds. This effect, if your opponent, if you do, would destroy it. Freaking! I try to call you out of the typos and then I buy this one. Yeah, well, you call yourself out, so props to that, I guess. Spells and traps. We're gonna do the good spells now. Arcade Break Fan, equip spell. Equip only to an RK monster. I'm just gonna skip that part moving forward because I think we all know that's what it says. If you can place this card face If you can place this face-up spell card in your monster zone, in addition to your spell and trap zone. Oh, wait, if so, you can place this card in your spell and trap. If so, you can do that. What I just read. If so, you can put this thing in the monster zone from the spell and trap zone. This card is not treated as a monster while it's in the monster zone, so it's not much more like a United Stand idea. Still would be funny if you could have done that, though. Also, this card can substitute for up to 2 levels for the Secret Zone of the Machine Monster, which is something that caught me off guard during the thing, but it's just like, this thing counts as extra levels, which is just like, wow, that opens a lot of potential. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold recently. I hate this cold weather. Anyway, if this equipped spell is equipped to a monster, if this equipped spell equipped to a monster is sent to the GY, you can target one arcane monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn, which is handy. I'm glad that also gives you an extra little bit of protection. It does what Breakfans can't do in the Thomas universe, and actually saves you from disaster. Oh yeah. The only time that the Breakman actually came in handy in the Thomas universe is when freaking James was going to trucks up the hill at one time. And maybe that's why people think that the James arc is the worst arc, because the Breakman actually does its job. But yeah, it counts as extra levels for a secret summon to be put in the monster zone, and it can also give you protection. So, handy, I like it, it's a good card. Moving on. Arcade Coaches. Equipped spell card. What I just... I'll read it again because I butchered it the frickin' last time with a breakdown. Equip only to an arcane monster. If so, you can place this face-up spell card in your monster zones in addition to your spell and trap zones. This card is not treated as a monster while it's in the monster zones. Also, this card can substitute for up to 2 levels for the sacred summon of a machine monster. Now, the unique effect. Once per turn, it only ones that turn. If this equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can draw 1 card. So if the coaches are equipped to one of your monsters and it destroys a monster by battle, you draw, which is handy. It's like a Horn of the Phantom Beast in a way. I like that. Anything that gives me draw power is a card I like, especially if you equip it with more coaches, so that means that you can technically draw more cards. Or maybe it says that only once that turn means you can only draw 1 and not one for each coach. I imagine it was 1 for each coach though, just because that would be more valuable, because it doesn't give a hard thing. Although maybe I'll press play and it would be like, actually, also in addition. But yeah. That's how I choose to interpret it. Because I wanted to read that way. RK Express Coaches. Equip spell. Equip only to an RK monster. Blah, blah, blah. You know how this works by now. Anyway, the unique effect. Freaking heck, where is it? The equipped synchro monster can attack up to the number of RK Express coaches equipped to it. Which, don't do that with Green Arrow, because it could do that all by itself. It didn't need help. But yeah, this is giving the other synchro monsters help with doing that themselves, like Green, with like City of Truro and Mallard and all that jazz. That's a really handy effect. Bit of a thing that does bug me with the Legends thing though is I kind of wish they all had different levels that you could mix and match, but I guess they require extra math, and just keeping them all simply to 2 levels does make it a little bit easier to pick, because you know that it's always going to be 2 stars, 2 stars, 2 stars. Because I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Just how I would have done it. I'm not saying that your way of doing it is wrong, and it makes it easier for you to script duels. That's what's most important. Make your life a little bit easier, but that's just, how I would think it personally. Different people know that jazz. Arcade Cold Trucks. Equip spell. I think there was a field spell logo. I remember saw. Blah blah blah. You know how this works. If the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster, it gains 500 attack points. I imagine for like the damage step only, or like just in general, like if it attacks the monster, it gains 500 attack permanently. Doesn't specify on that one, but I guess it's just a permanent for that. So like if I attack your monster, I get 500 extra attack points, and I keep that 500 attack points. Even if this card leaves the field, I guess too, but it doesn't say that. So I guess I guess if the coal cars go to, so does the power boost. It's alright. That's not a bad one. I like it enough, I put a couple in the deck. Actually, I gotta put all these things in the deck whether I like it or not, because that's how the Archetype works. So, yeah. Nice. I like it. Thankfully, these trucks are not troublesome. Arcade Box Wagon. Quick spell. Blah blah blah. If this card is activated, add one RK card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. This is the best one. Just it wins just for that alone. Just like you equip this thing on and you can search a freaking card from your deck. And I know it says you can only use this effect once per turn, and I imagine it's for each box car, but I don't like it's just like a hard once per turn. Like you can't use like a box wagon, get the search. Okay, that box wagon used. Another box wagon, get the search. Like you can't tune table contents this thing, but it's still gonna be good. It's still better because activate box wagon, get a free search. I can do it. Heck, I can freaking box wagon, tally Lin, or tally win into box wagon, and then box wagon does something else if I really want to. So yeah, heck, I can go into the freaking one that like can spur some of itself. I get rid of my foot spell, I guess too. This thing has a potential. I like that. So it could go places. It's my favorite so far. Easy to say. Up. Your emergence ruined. Oh, stop. There we go. RK Oil Tanker. Equip spell. OT. Blah blah. If this equipped spell is sent from an equipped monster to the graveyard, destroy one card your opponent controls and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. I like it, some oil spill in a way. And you know what happens with oil? Or gasoline in every action movie ever. What's that? The car leaked like one drip of gasoline? It explodes. Why? Where was the match? Doesn't matter, it's a car, so that means it explodes. Jeez, I love B movies sometimes. But back on topic, this can be really helpful for the City of Troll, which can destroy a card back, which means that you're destroying 2 cards back and dealing burn damage on top of it. So yeah, have fun dealing with that one, I gotta say. Be a real jerk. Actually, it does more because, it just says if it's sent from the equip box to the graveyard, so if I, equip them all to Tally Lin, and then Tally Lin is used as single material, technically they all went from the equip monster to the graveyard, so I can just freaking blow up my opponent's field and burn for up to 3,000 damage with it. I imagine that's not what S-Code Knight meant, but it's a potential reality with this wording, so, yeah, that'd be freaking funny as fun. What can you do now against my Egyptian God cards, Yugi? Give my monsters 3 oil tankers! I know the gods can't be targeted. Shut up, it's funny. Good card. Very handy. RK Flatbed. Equip spell. You know the drill. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Shuffle up to 3 RK equip spells from your graveyard back into your deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's a handy little pot of avarice. Good to get some of your stuff back in the graveyard reloading, because I imagine if you're going to be equipping from your deck so often, your deck's going to start running low, and you got to put some resources back. So yeah. And none of these things banish, well, except for this one. No other of the RKs banish, so it's good that they're all going to basically stay in the graveyard unless your opponent's playing a banishment deck themselves. So you always know you can put the resources back in, which is good. It's just good to get your resources back and get a little drop potential. So good. Handy card. Nice. First class coaches. Quick spell. This card's name becomes an RK Express code while it's faced from the field. Well, this is the worst one. Like, it's just that it's changing its name to an RK Express coach, and you haven't met a card yet that cares if it has Express coaches or not. Like, that hasn't been a thing that matters. Like, maybe there's a trap card that'd be like a counter trap or something that says, while you have a monster equipped with an Express coach, do this. But it hasn't come up yet, so this is the worst one so far. I mean, it's nice that its name becomes it, but doesn't also copy the effect of Express Coach. It's treated as Express Coach. That's it. Well, okay, this thing can also be used. Can they all be used as face up to 2 levels? They've all been able to use up to 2 levels, so my excuse of them being like 1 or 2s has been stupid this entire time. I thought it was hard too. This is not my night. So you can't choose between 1, 2, or 3. I guess my point is more like, you know, mix and match the levels, you know, the more elite stuff like your first class coaches, like your regular coaches becomes level 1, your middle class 2, express 3, and so on and so forth, but Well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, this is so far the worst one. Frick, where was I? None of here. I've lost my place. What have you done to me? Look what you did to me, that's Cody. This is all your fault somehow. I don't know how yet, but you are. Anyway, here we are. 3, 2, 1, go. Great Coach, equipped spell card. I blame Escodite for some reason, Dookie Darkwolf. And Spooky too. Why should it be feel? Blech. Let's read the card. The equipment so cannot be targeted by card effects. I assume that meant the equipment monster cannot be targeted by card effects. Okay, that's not bad. You know, just giving your monster a little bit of protection, you know. That's not terrible. It's better than the last one, that's for dang sure. I don't know how many of this I would put in the deck, and, you know, I don't think it's that big a deal, but, you know, giving your monster some targeting protection, handy. So, yeah. It's better than the last one, that's for damn sure. Arcade Shunting, normal spell card. We're out of the equipped spell, folks. In your coaches. Activate only if you control an RK monster. If so, activate one of the following effects. 1. Special summon 1 RK monster from your graveyard with its effects negated. Also its level becomes 2. 2. Return 1 RK synchro monster you control to the extra deck. Then equip up to 2 RK equipped spells from your deck to 1 face RK monster you control. You can release 1 RK shunting per turn. Okay, so I gotta run RK monster to do this. And I can either special summon an RK monster from my graveyard, although the last effect in that becomes level 2, or I can return RK synchro to the extra deck and then equip it up to 2 spells to another face of RK monster I control. Which I probably won't have anymore because I just took a synchro and put it back into the deck, but I guess if I have another guy in the field, it can be powered up, so I guess that's a fair enough trade out, I guess, you know? The second one's alright, but I think I'd much rather just have a monster from the graveyard and then that's effects negated. Also, if you target like Tally Lynn, for example, you just gave it an extra level, which means it's technically the one that's already level 2, it's just like, I'm already level 2, so all you did was negate my effect, which sucks, granted, but I'm back. But yeah. I guess the first one was better, so this thing you gotta run though, just because it's something that's not equipped spells so far, so you're gonna have to put a deck. I don't know what number you can put in, maybe 2 or 3, but that's, you know, that's what I think. RK Marshalling Yard, continuous spell. Oh, those Pistons look weird. When this card is activated, or sidewise rather, when this card is activated, add 1 RK monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. During your main phase, you can target 1 RK equipped spell in your graveyard, either add to your hand or equip it to 1 face of RK monster you control. Okay, so you gotta play 3 of it, obviously, just because it gives you the search, but then on top of that, it can also equip you with a freaking equipped spell from your graveyard, either add to your hand or just equip it to a monster already on the field. It's just like, yeah, you gotta play the card for that reason alone, if only. That's handy by itself, so yeah, play 3 of this thing. I don't even gotta go further, although I will go further just to explain the rest. If they RK monsters and or RK equipped spells you control would be destroyed by a battle card effect, you can destroy this card instead. You can only use each effective Marshalling Yard once per turn. So the option answer random equipped spells, or you just don't want to lose your equipped spells, or your monster's going to be Regaking this well, I already said that if you out of it. It's like this thing goes instead, which is okay. That's nice, I guess. I probably would rather keep you up just so I could keep the equipment stuff, but hey, I'm glad you have a little extra protection. That's handy. That's nice. Moving on. RK Signals Cross. I like that. signal was down, sir. If your opponent's monster attacks an RK monster you control or attacks you directly, you can negate the attack, and if you do, add 1 RK crit spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of RK signals once per turn. Or use 1 effect of RK signals per turn. What do you mean use 1 effect? Like, I can only use the if it's attack, like if I attack an RK monster once, or if I'm attacked directly once. That just seems kind of weird. It says once per turn, but I guess that's what it's supposed to mean. Makes sense, I guess. But yeah, obviously you do this just if only so you can get a search. So yeah, and you're gonna be attacked, so why not? There's a scrap iron scarecrow that searches in a sense, so handy. RK Breakdown Crane, continuous trap. I did notice back there on the hook thing. I think this is good enough. No, it's not. I just want to point this out. It's got a little smiley face. I like that. I can see that. That's some good work. Makes me smirk. More of a character than Jeremy and Jerome. Target 1 RK monster from your graveyard. Special summoning. If you do, equip this card to that monster. This card leaves the field. Destroy that special summon monster. So it can revive a monster, and unfortunately, if that monster dies, so does it, and vice versa. Well, actually, not vice versa, because you can specify that. If the equipped monster is a synchro monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your monster zone to the graveyard. So, because this thing can also go in the monster card zone now. Special summon 1 RK synchro monster from your extra deck that is 2 levels higher, and this is treated as a synchro summon. You can only use each effective RK Breakdown Crane once per turn. Okay. So what this thing does is it can revive an RK monster from your graveyard, and then equip it to this special, and then revive it to this card. And it can also, if you equip it with a synchro monster, you can tag this thing out, and then bring out a synchro monster that's 2 levels higher. Tag this thing and the synchro monster you brought back out, and bring back a monster that's 2 levels higher. So that's a really handy effect, and I like that. It's good to have its own Call of the Haunted, and a Call of the Haunted that can help you go back into your combos again all over again. You're not like just on a back foot again. You can actually still progress the game state. So that's handy. Mind you, there's only you have a synchro monster, but that's fine. It's the point of the archetype. So good work there. That's good. Good. Arcade Switch Trap. Switch Track. Normal trap card. Is that like some Paths of Destiny crap? I know it's because you're changing the points, but it's just, that's what I see in my head, It's a trolley problem. If an RK monster you control is targeted for attack, special summon 1 buffer token to the field. It's a machine Earth level 2 monster with no question mark attack or defense. Because the attack and defense of this talking token becomes the same as the attacking monster. If this token is destroyed by battle card effect, inflict damage equal to half its attack points. You can only use 1 RK Switch Track per turn. Okay, so an RK monster is targeted for attack by like a 5-headed dragon, just off the top of my head. You can instead special summon the token, and its attack will become like 5,000. Second defense will be 5,000, just like a 5-headed dragon. But it's not like if you can't get over this 5-headed dragon, you know what I mean. And if the token gets destroyed by any means, you inflict damage equal to half its attack point. So, like if it gets Regeki, you can just do this 500 damage. It's alright. It's kind of situational and requires you to already have an RK monster being targeted for attack just to bring another monster, and you didn't negate the attack for the record. I mean, you can still choose to, the opponent can still choose to replay the attack and still destroy the dang thing. Not a wise decision given some of them can, like, pop a whip spell and destroy, but, it's a choice. Also, what do you mean by half attack? I assume you mean half the attack while it's on the field. Because it got question mark attack and not, it doesn't specify a ritual attack, so I guess I mean attack points while it's on the field. So, yeah, that explains that thing. Never mind. It's situational, but I can see myself playing 1, maybe 2. It depends. 2 feels like pushing.
I am talking, and I'm not listening!
And
why do we have text?
That is another What If Archetype video done.
Just type, my dude.
What did you think of these guys? And what did you think of Emily Pania? Drop a comment down below. Make sure to like, subscribe. And with that said, I'm S-Code Knight. And I shall see you all next time. Peace.
Oh wait, there's more at the end. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going then. Playing Railway Knights. There's gonna show up some playthroughs of it. Or some replays, I guess I mean to say. Oh, it's so got remade for the Railway series. Playing Rank 10 Trains. Oh, it's a... Hey, some people just like blowing shit up. But yeah, I've already said what I think about Emily, but yeah, I like the Railway Knights. They got a cool gimmick, and I like myself some steam trains, and I feel like I understand them better now that I've actually, read them and all that stuff, It's one thing to see to go to the action, it's another thing to play them yourself, it's another thing to read them, But I like them. I like the potential they have, the combos they can do. Not all of them are great, but every archetype has that one card where it's like, I can do without you. But I guess it's fine. Like, like if Konami woke up one day and decided we will shred all copies of Hero Heart, would anyone really shed a tear? I mean, there's always going to be that one guy, but who cares? Like, everything's perfect, but everything has to be. You gotta balance out the archetypes somehow. Plus, at the end of the day, they can still be level 2 levels, so that's what matters at the end of the day when all is said and done. You're more focusing on sickle summoning than using the individual effects, which, okay then, fair enough. So yeah, I like the archetype, I think it has potential, and I'm looking forward to see where else it could go, and how much further it could expand when Emily is introduced to proper Yu-Gi-Oh! Unleashed. After we're done with all the other stuff that's going on, which, as per usual, take your time, Escode. I know you're starting back up with Pokemon Philosopher, so, all that usual stuff. So yeah, cool archetype, good work, Escode. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Emily and her Arcade Knights in the future. Railway Knights. Yeah, good stuff. So until next time, keep on chugging. Still all the catchphrases of Ginger Engine.